Well, good afternoon. It's a real pleasure being here today with you. Thank you, Green Book team, for this opportunity. I'm really excited to have these, few moments and then share a little bit with you what we've done with our clients, how we're really using technology to help our clients transform their business and transform how they do market research. So, welcome to the future. At least the future that I visualized 5 years ago when I co-founded IIeX Global, it's happening now. In the last 2 days, we've seen a lot of examples, a lot of companies, and cases, how technology is this driving force of this transformation. But technology alone is just an enabler. And what I think that one of our main challenges when you think about applying technology or transform this industry using new technology and innovation, I think the main challenge is really to change the traditional mindset. It's not just about learning new technology or just apply technology within the same linear process of conducting research. I mean about linear, about collecting data, processing data, analyzing data, and producing reports. So I challenge you to think in a new way, and I'm going to show some examples how we have helped our clients to totally transform the way they are conducting some research projects by applying technology with a different mindset. But let me show you and analyze how web technology have affected the way that we store data, how we produce data, and how we retrieve data from the web. What I'm calling the Web 1.0 generation of technology is the first generation, maybe 20 years ago, 17 years ago, where all of the data on the web used to be stored as pages, documents, and all of this data used to be linked to each other through hyperlinks. And in this phase of the web, actually we are still living this phase. We use keywords and the traditional search engines to find data and mine data in the internet. But these technologies, they have been evolving. And as new technology and free technology allow users to produce new content, we are experiencing, and we are still living this in our daily lives, the explosion of data being produced by users. So the Web 2.0 web technologies are these technologies that are social, local, mobile. It's all about user experience. It's about gamification. It's about using all of these platforms to empower people. But this phase of the internet and these web technologies, we still see the platforms, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Instagrams. They are the kings, they are the real protagonists of this transformation. But we already seen something happening, and it's still in early stage. And what we are calling the Web 3.0, the next generation of the web technologies, they will be people-centric. We are going to combine more advanced technology that we are calling semantic technology and semantic web, not just to link data or link pages or documents based on keywords or hyperlinks. We are going to find and mine information, knowledge from the web based on context. That's what we're calling semantic. And it's happening already. A lot of companies are investing a lot in web semantic technology. And if you search on Google about personal data lockers, it's another type of technology that is going to shape the new generation of web technology. It's about empowering people to have more control about their data, about their privacy, about what they do. So in the next generation of the web, the users, people will be really the main protagonists. And here's an example. I bet that some of you followed what happened a few days ago. We saw this on some blogs of the industry. This guy from New York, during a few weeks, he collected all of the data that he could about his own web behavior, about photos, geolocation. So using available free technology, he was able to put together a database, and using Kickstarter, he was selling his own data. From just $2 a day, anyone could go there and buy this data set. And this guy sold his own data for almost $3,000. And look at what he said. I'm selling this data just for $2 a day. If more people do the same, I think marketeers could just pay as directly for our data. It might sound crazy, but so it's giving all of our data away for free. So if you're scared about what we've seen here about do it yourself, Google consumer service, replacing the large trackers, imagine the day when people decide to, okay, I'm the owner of my own data. I'm not going to, just share this for free. And the technology will empower people to have control about their data. Okay, so there are some big transformations already happening. And one of these big forces is that the shift on marketing power. Brands, they don't have control anymore about what people say about their brands. And what brands are trying to figure out how we can join the conversation, how we can be more close, how we can be closer to the consumers and collaborate with them, because they cannot control anymore what they are saying. They can, produce new content, they can share content. So this is a total new paradigm for brands, and we cannot control that. It will just continue growing. And there is another force that we should keep an eye open is about the personal cloud. Nowadays, just 7% of the personal data is stored on the web or on the cloud. But Gartner predicts that in just 4 years, that number will be at least 5 times more. What that means, that photos, videos, all type of personal data that used to be stored on desktops will be stored on the web, using cloud computing systems. So it's a big transformation, and of course, that one of the consequences, it's big data. When I say big data here, it's a huge amount of data that will be continued growing and growing and growing. And as much as these new technologies, social, mobile technologies, are available for people, we have more and more data available on the web. Okay, but let's make the same comparison on how digital technology have transformed market research. What I'm calling Research 1.0, the first generation of the web technology tools for market research, maybe 15 years ago, when we started seeing the first online survey platforms, online panels, integrated data collection platforms, and the first generation of online reports. Not many years ago, but in some countries, like in Brazil, most of my colleagues, they're still struggling on how to migrate their offline projects from face-to-face and telephone to the web. So we are still living this generation, but at the same time, as we can see here, we have a lot of new technology, market research, online communities, mobile service, facial coding, gamification, eye tracking, text analytics, dynamic dashboards. And just a few days ago, I wrote an article on the Green Book blog that I truly believe that we are just starting the golden age for market research technology. We never had so many new technologies and so many new ways of using this technology to transform the way that we conduct research. But it's really in early stage. But when we analyze what's happening on the web in terms of how people are using the web technologies, mobile and social technologies, they're already jumping to the 3.0 era, and we are still in this transformation. So we should keep an eye open what's happening and what will be the research 3.0 generation of technology. So how we are going to evolve while this technology will be evolving. I don't have all the answers, but what I believe is that, of course, we'll go to smaller screens. Mobile is here to stay. And of course, as once we have access to mobile technology, we'll get more real world. It means that we'll be in contact with consumers all the time, anywhere, on the moment. But there is a missing piece here. Technology is great. It's the enabler, it's the driving force behind all of that. But we're missing one thing. That's what we are seeing happening on the migration of the Web 2.0 to 3.0 technology. It's about people-centric. We should take in consideration that people is on the center of all of that. And all of these new technologies are just empowering people. And I really get very upset when I still say, okay, let's treat consumers as respondents or just a resource that we use and we discard. Or we just classify as cheaters, as speeders, or whatever. We should really start thinking about people as collaborators, not just a resource that we use in a linear process that And then I think that's one of the big challenges and transformation of this industry. This is about being people-centric and understand that these people who collaborate, who participate in our studies, they are part of this process. And that's what we are proposing. So what we've been doing in C Global. First, we decided to open an innovation lab. If we wanted to create something new, we truly believe that creating environments and bringing creative people to help us develop new things was very important. And our experience shows that once you get, in the same environment, multicultural people, diverse people with different type of backgrounds, it really creates a very rich environment to boost innovation. And we created this innovation lab, and we started developing what we call a new ecosystem for the next generation of market research and consumer insights. It's more than a technology platform, but it's really a new concept of how we could conduct research in the future. So as I've been saying about collaboration, this is the basis of our model. And in this new world, we see consumers, researchers, and brands as three protagonists in this world. And there is a flow, a continuous flow of collaboration and exchange of knowledge and information in this ecosystem. So from one side, we know that's very important to work on the user experience, having all of this social, local, and mobile type of capability to be in contact on the moment with consumers. We have very good results experimenting with gamification, and we're going to show some examples how we're applying gamification to have better results and more quality of the data that we collect. Of course, online communities and applications also very important too, because we can segment consumers and we can conduct conversation in a very segmented way with specific group of users from similar profiles and interests. So we're using a lot of communities and apps. And of course, once we have all of this data coming from different sources, it's important to think about integrating data from different types and different systems. On the other side, we've built some tools that we call do it yourself or do it ourselves. It doesn't matter if the brands or if the researchers or if they're working together. In this environment, we don't use the name surveys. So for consumers, surveys is just a technical word. So we call activities. So we invite them to participate in activities. And the model is very flexible, and clients can use it as they go or as subscriptions. And we have integrated these with external advanced analytics and reporting tools and dashboards. This is just a screenshot on how we built the interface for the users. So it's like a social media platform, like very Facebook-alike. And you can see here what we call their timeline. And instead of inviting them to take surveys or respond questions, we use a lot of gamification to try to use their system on, okay? I'll say to incentivize them to give us quick response. For example, let us test your memory. So what do you think about this? Do you like this or not, or that? In all activities in this network, they have a maximum of 5 minutes. So we do not allow clients to post any type of activities with more than 5 minutes. So if we have a set of more than 15 questions, we should break it and then integrate on the database level. And we use gamification as well, creating different type of recognitions and rewards as a way of recognize the collaboration of the people who participate here. In terms of the personal data lockers that I mentioned, okay, I have to run. In terms of the consumer data lockers, all of this data goes into a single database, but we've built this concept of the consumers are on the center of this model. So any type of information or data that we collect, we always aggregate this in terms of user level, okay? And this consumer data mart is incremental, historical, customizable. We can add new data sets and new variables at any time. It's on the cloud. So, just using Amazon cloud computing system, we can double our capacity from one day to another just using a very simple panel. So let me show you two examples how we have worked both with market research agents and end clients, how to use this platform and this technology. We have a client in Brazil. They wanted to launch a new ad tracking, syndicated research study using neuroscience technology to measure emotions. And in the first study design, we selected another technology partner. Actually, they participated here in the competition, AnyVision, the facial coded technology. But our clients, that's a market research agent that they call themselves innovators, they designed this project in a very similar way as they were developing any research study. So at the end, when we are checking the result of the pilot study, we had like 40 minutes online questionnaire. They were testing like 16 videos on a row, so in just using this community as a panel, as an access panel. So we said, okay, let's stop this and let's redesign this study. We proposed to them this model. So we transformed this study. We call this HEART. And HEART is a new type of activity where we ask consumers to let us test their emotions. Okay, I will run. And then we also break the questionnaire, the 40-minute questionnaire. We got part of the questions in a standard data set. So most of the data that they wanted, we already had in their database, because on this community, you have a lot of advanced profiles. So we do not, we don't want to, keep asking the same questions all the time. So we just store this response, and then we just ask respondents or consumers to respond again in a specific time frame as we need to update the data. And then we redesigned this study, integrated with other analytic platforms and on-time dialogue. So when they are participating, if the research wants to go beyond the set of questions, they can jump in and invite them into a real-time dialogue, okay, with the researcher. In the other case studies with DirecTV, DirecTV wanted to integrate different types of data sets, including TV ratings, social media, web analytics, and primary research. So what we've done for DirecTV, first they had the traditional online custom panel. They had a lot of interactions and conversations going on their social media platform, and they had the DirecTV rating system. So we developed a data plan integration system, and nowadays we import all of these ratings from DirecTV, Latin America, and actually there is an app in Google Play and Apple Store. It's free. You can download Audience, and you can see all of the top channels and programs in Latin America in all countries, and also the regional ratings in real time. Okay, so on a daily basis we receive millions of data being collected from this rating system. And then we also build, using the same platform, branded social network. It's called DirecTV Opina. We're using all of these gamification tools, and it's integrated with their social media as well. So their social media team is participating on this project, and all of the content generated on the social media platforms is replied on this platform. So the goal is that we have a unique conversation platform with DirecTV, and all of the flow of DirecTV subscribers, we are driven to this conversation platform. So this is some examples how we are going to transform research.
So I know Adriana has a lot more for you, and I know that you would have had questions for her. You're going to be here through when?
Tomorrow afternoon.
She will be here through tomorrow afternoon, so you'll have an opportunity to catch up with her and ask questions there. Now we have to move on to our next tracks. Track 1 will be in here. Track 2 will be right next door. And thank you.